he just broke down into tears because he was just like, I don't know if I can do this.
I realised that potentially professional golf wasn't going to be where my future lay.
Laird Shepherd comes through to become amateur champion.
I just cannot believe it. Being able to ride the emotional roller coaster that is professional golf, mentally being able to deal with self-doubt, highs and lows, remaining patient, remaining persistent, to me that is what the grind is.
Not being very generous this morning.
See, in Scotland here it's not very good weather, so the grind is being able to motivate yourself and go out and practice and do everything you need to do to improve your game, especially in the winter.
Golf's a unique sport in that everything might only come together 1 week of the year, and that's what's so hard about it. Grinding through the other 51 weeks of the year where it might not be going to plan. That's what the grind is.
Going over to the States, practice facilities are just like top class, and then you come over here and it's picking your own balls up, and every time you go outside you're layering up and everything, so it's definitely a different world, you know, but someone's got to do it.
Golf was a way of life for Shepherd growing up in Brighton, England.
Growing up I certainly was never one of the best players. I was always middle of the pack, I'd say, but I don't like losing, I suppose, so I guess that's the thing that drives me more than anything. Definitely a fear of failure. Worked somewhat so far, so.
So I'd say he's probably the best driver of the golf ball I've ever seen. He certainly works as hard as I've ever seen anybody work at the game.
But you've got to be careful with the volume you're putting your body under and manage that as well.
I started having lower right side back pain, must have been 2017, was the first time I can remember having to walk off a golf course.
He had built himself into one of Britain's most promising amateurs, but it was persistent back and knee injuries that clouded his future.
It was just a cycle of a constant nagging pain where, is it getting better, is it getting worse, is it going to hold up basically, am I going to hold up?
I didn't ever think he would give up, but he was getting a lot of injuries and you weren't sure if his body was going to withstand playing professional golf.
On a cold day in Scotland in January of 2021, worn down by COVID and lingering pain from knee surgery, Shepherd hit a wall.
We got back into the car and I just said, look, what's going on? And he just broke down into tears because he was just like, I don't know if I can do this.
So I remember sitting in the car with her and being in tears and basically saying that I'm not very good at anything else. The idea of having to reinvent yourself as an ex-golfer or as something completely different, you feel like you're losing part of who you are. It's probably like rock bottom for me because I had softened to the idea that potentially professional golf wasn't going to be where my future lay. Right up until 10 days before the British Amateur, I was speaking to my dad about doing a postgrad degree and just becoming more prepared for life if golf didn't work out.
Good morning to you from the beautiful Nairn Golf Club. It's the final of the Amateur. With every respect, I don't think either Laird Shepherd or Monty Scousel would have expected to be playing here today.
6 months of intensive rehabilitation helped Shepherd heal his body and his game. He began feeling like his old self again as he entered the British Amateur.
We both got into the match play, and if we drew each other, we would play each other in the next round.
Unfortunately, Andrew lost, and I don't know how I would have handled playing him because he's like my best friend.
But Laird managed to get through, so I decided to stay up and caddy for him for the remainder.
So much at stake, of course, for a chance to play in the Open Championship at Royal St George's next month. Traditionally, the champion is also invited to play the Masters and, of course, the US Open.
The prize is one of the biggest in amateur golf, so, it's one that you really want to perform at.
Always the underdog, Shepherd won match after match, reaching the 36-hole final against Monty Scousel.
Second place wins you nothing, really. And winning, as cliche as it might sound, does change your life. All the thoughts of going to Augusta and playing the Open and the US Open definitely do flood your head, and you try not to think about it, but that wasn't going to happen.
Laird Shepherd trails 7 down at the halfway stage.
Do you think this isn't looking possible from here?
You're thinking, oh, he's screwed. It was tough to watch, I'm not going to lie.
We're all golfers, we've all been there, we've all had days like this.
I was pretty dejected at that point. Everyone's travelled up to see me play this match, and it's just typical that I'm going to get absolutely pumped.
A monumental task awaits Laird Shepherd.
There's still 18 holes to go. It's not impossible.
But it's virtually impossible, I think we all know that.
Match play is all about momentum, and it's never over until it's over.
At that point I thought, it could be on here. Can he really do it?
He's got to stay positive.
I ended up winning a few holes in a row, and then bang, you're only 4 down with 9 to play.
It's amazing what pressure can do. It's amazing how momentum can work.
There were times where I thought it was definitely on, and then the next hole I'm thinking, right, it's over again. If you miss, you are not playing in the Masters, you are not playing in the Open, and you're not playing the US Open.
Monty Scousel to become the amateur champion. Oh, what a final this is. We're into extra holes. He has battled so well, Laird Shepherd. Can he get over the line to complete one of the great comebacks?
Walking down the first extra hole, I think I just started crying. I was quite stressed at that point.
And you think that you've fought all the way back to extra holes. You don't want to lose it now, do you?
It's a strange place to be in, and a sudden death playoff to play in 3 majors, that's pressure.
The momentum definitely in Laird's favour. Monty probably couldn't really believe what was going on.
To come all that way to lose would have been heartbreaking.
And I could see how nervous he was, but just tried to keep him calm and keep him breathing, pretty much.
Even the last hole we played was a bit of a roller coaster. Thank God I was able to go first.
Suddenly, Monty Scousel has a putt to keep it alive.
Oh, not this time though. Would you believe it? That is one of the greatest comebacks you could ever ask to see.
This one's going down in history. From 8 down to become amateur champion, that just doesn't happen.
I just remember when it finished, just turning to Laird and saying, oh my God, he nearly collapsed at the side of the green.
It's such a marathon, and to have someone there in your corner helping you, I really don't think I would have won without his help.
All the injuries, all the years of toil, all the emotions spill over.
It kind of came out of nowhere, the success that week, but all the pieces of the puzzle were actually falling into place.
Shepherd had pulled off a comeback for the ages, earning invitations to the British Open, Masters, and US Open in the coming 12 months, so long as he remained an amateur. That brings pressure to pay the bills and validate his place in the field.
His life completely changed after. Massive opportunities that arise.
My main focus is now trying to take advantage of those as much as possible to put things in place so we're ready to go to Augusta and play the US Open, but probably more importantly, play professional golf after that. Playing the Open 3 weeks later, just such a cool experience.
After a first round 74 at Royal St. George's, Shepherd rallies again to shoot a strong 69. Unfortunately, he misses the cut by 2 shots.
Having the pressure to try and make the cut, I didn't, and that was disappointing, but I felt like I'd dealt with the whole situation really, really well, and I'd played some of the best golf in my life. Playing majors is expensive. Most of the players that are playing in them are okay with spending 20 grand on accommodation that week, but I'm not on their pay grade sort of thing, so it's difficult to scrape together enough to keep doing it. I can't win any money back. That's why part of me is just looking forward to trying to actually earn some money back from the game.
To celebrate Georgia Cup's 25th anniversary. I wish both of these gentlemen good luck and can't wait to watch this match out here today.
With 2 weeks until the Masters, Shepherd accepts an invitation to play in the Georgia Cup. Established in 1998 and hosted by the Golf Club of Georgia, this goodwill match brings together the reigning U.S. and British amateur champions. Shepherd versus James Piot.
The last few weeks I've tried to get some warm weather training, so I've been out in Spain and Portugal for a few weeks. A weekend like this is great preparation for the Masters because the greens were pretty quick today, very slopey, and obviously having some crowd there is just a perfect combination of things to try and get prepared.
Nice shot, Laird.
Perfect timing for Laird to get some really competitive practice in. I think that's definitely what Laird's been lacking over the last 2 years with COVID. And to do it for a charity like Folds of Honour is amazing, and they raised $250,000 yesterday, which I was just gobsmacked by. So to see that happen and support the event, that's amazing.
Best of luck down at Augusta, because I have a feeling there'll be a lot of people watching you, or maybe even following you down there.
Playing the Masters, you know, that's everyone's childhood dream, I think. If you're a young boy who plays golf, you want to be playing at the Masters.
The first major of the year, so everybody watches it and you're going to be able to walk down the fairways of probably one of the most famous golf courses in the world with one of your friends. Once in a lifetime stuff.
A dream come true. I mean, to be playing with the best players in the world is, I think, the most exciting bit about it. There's no doubt when you're there, the best golfer in the world is in the field. That's probably the most important thing to remember, that I'm here to gain experience and learn, but also I'm competitive, and so I want to compete as well. Driving the car, obviously the entrance is not that well signposted because there's not many people needing to know where it is. Suddenly you're driving down Magnolia Lane and kind of got to pinch yourself as to where you are, and the place is obviously like magical, and the history of it and stuff. You can remember watching on TV every single hole. I remember shots on every single hole, and just magical to like be a small part of the history of it. It couldn't have really gone much worse, to be honest. So, you know, having sort of worked towards this for, you know, six or 7 months, it's tough, and all I wanted to do was get off the golf course. Everyone's telling you to enjoy it, and you just can't because you're too busy trying to survive, basically. Yeah, opens the door to a lot of questions and sort of where we go from here.
I know he did not play the way that he wanted to the last 2 rounds here at Augusta, but you can't let that stuff define you. It's a game. You're gonna have some awful weeks, and I mean they're gonna be awful. It's how quickly you forget them. And if you're not motivated by the experience that you've just had, you know, that's gonna make it tough.
Obviously the result's disappointing, but I was just trying to keep him in good spirits as much as I could. You can only try your best, and that's what he did, so he can hold his head high.
It's what he's been working towards for the most part of the last year, so I know his golf obviously wasn't where he wanted it to be, but it's still been amazing, like walking the fairways and seeing him the other side of the ropes, and like with these players. So they're the best players in the world, and you know, it's probably the biggest stage in golf. The pressure that there is with the fans and things, and cameras on you all the time. I mean, the fans that Tiger brings, all of that kind of put together, it kind of creates this crazy atmosphere. And I mean, I think an exciting one, but also I can imagine a nerve-wracking one.
The claustrophobic feel of having so many people so close to you all the time. There's always eyes on you, and you kind of feel like you need to, I don't know, act in a certain way, or you know, there's a lot of people around and you're kind of on show, and so you kind of want to just like go and hide, especially when you don't play very well.
Laird Shepherd winning the British Amateur in the fashion that he did obviously has incredible heart. This week, watching him play a little bit out there, playing in the Masters has got to be overwhelming as an amateur. You feel bad for that. You just hope the results don't dictate any change in his philosophy or his method. You can't pay for that kind of experience. You can't go buy it. You can't sit in the classroom. That's the only way you can do it.
I've struggled this week in terms of obviously something's not worked, so something needs to change. I don't know what that is, but motivated me to continue to go down the sort of path I am going down with it.
Like I said, to even be here is a massive achievement. So Laird was playing in the same tournament as Tiger Woods. Not many people can say that in our age.
I know he has the game to compete, and I think he believes deep down that he could have competed this week, but I know it wasn't where I wanted to be this week, but it will be at some point in the future, and hopefully he'll get another chance at it.
It's in there somewhere, it just needs to come out. But I suppose that's golf, so you learn from your biggest failures, and this was a pretty fucking big one, so yeah.